Welcome back to Level 7 Omega Protocol. This is turn 1 for the commandos, and we'll just get right into it here. The first thing that happens on a turn is the timer phase. So I'm just going to pan up here to the timer track, and on the very first turn, the timer just goes on to position number 1. It doesn't actually move, so we'll set it there. All right. So here we are on the main board. We have our 3 commandos, like I had said before. We have the reconnaissance special in the front, the team leader right behind him, and the heavy beside the team leader. So I'm going to go over to the character cards now, because the next step will be for the commandos to assign initiative cards and select a stance. So let's transition over to those. Okay, so here we are over with the commandos. And so for initiative, I have given a 1 to the reconnaissance specialist. I will have the heavy support specialist go second. I will have the team leader go third. And as far now as stance cards go, I'm using the cautious advance for the heavy support specialist. And we'll just take a look quickly at that. It gives him a movement of 2, a 4 ranged defense, a 3 melee defense, and it says, interrupt. If there are no enemies adjacent to you, increase your adrenaline by 2 to attack an enemy as it moves into your line of sight and within 4 spaces of you. So that is the stance I'm using for the heavy support specialist. For the reconnaissance specialist, because he's probably going to be opening that door right away, I have used cautious advance. It gives a movement of 3, a ranged and melee defense of 3. And it says, after you are attacked, you can increase your adrenaline by 1 to move up to 2 spaces. You can boost a stat challenge roll twice. Normally, you can only boost a stat challenge roll by 1 time, which means adding 1 black dice. And for the team leader, popular one that I like to use is the commanding card. So it gives him movement of 2, a defense, both melee and ranged of only 2. But if you look at the text here, it says, you and all other commandos within a 5 space aura of you gain an additional black die for all attacks this round. And it says you cannot be attacked by an enemy while you are adjacent to another active commando. So that is what I'm doing for my team leader. All right. That is the assigning initiative and selecting stance. Oh, and I did forget, before that, it's transferring any adrenaline used. But it being the first turn, of course, the commandos have no adrenaline that they have used yet. So that would have been the first step, then assign initiative, and then select the stance. All right, so now it's time for the commandos to activate and do some of their actions. So just looking quickly at the actions they can do, they can investigate for 1 adrenaline, they can move for 1 adrenaline, open a door, or trade, all costs 1 adrenaline. And a 2 adrenaline is an attack, first aid, or heal. All right, and the first aid should be revive. But anyhow, let's go to the main board and we'll activate our commandos. So first up in our activation sequence order, we have our reconnaissance specialist. And he is right here in front of the door. So he is going to spend 1 adrenaline point, and he is going to open the door. So it costs 1 adrenaline to open a door, so he is going to open this one. And we see that this door is jammed. It says a commando must pass his 3 strength challenge to open this door. Okay, well, unfortunately it's not going to open easily. It is jammed, and the reconnaissance specialist's strength is only 2, so he can roll 2 dice to try to open that door. I think I'm going to spend 1 more adrenaline to boost that ability to 3 dice. So let's go ahead and roll our 3 dice. And he's going to need 3 successes. This may not be easy to do. Well, let's see if he can do it. He gets 2, 4, 5 successes on the 3 dice, easily forcing this door open, and away it goes. All right. Good job for a reconnaissance specialist. So now that he has opened this door, we must reveal the room stack. And we do that in priority order. And in this room, we have a priority 1 and a priority 3. So the first card that we're going to deal with here is a priority 1, and it's faulty intel. And the faulty intel card says flip over a faulty intel tile in this room. And so what we need to do here, does this room have a faulty intel icon? I don't believe that it actually does. So in fact, this room does not have a faulty intel icon. So if you were playing as the Overseer, you wouldn't put that card in this room, but like I said, I randomized them, so that's how it happens. So that is going to remain unflipped. However, the next card is a priority 3, so it will go next in order, and it is a Recon Patrol. And it says spawn 2 Rogue clones and 1 Warrior clone in this room. So we're going to have to get 2 Rogues, a Warrior clone, and we're going to have to place them in the room. Okay, so doing that, we're grabbing our clones, and now the Overseer gets to place them anywhere in the room. Of course, you can't place them on red squares or on the actual doors themselves. And the door tiles probably should have stayed there for now because you can't place them on top of that as well. But we know the door was right here. So I'm going to put the Warrior clone right behind the console here. I will put one of the Rogue clones in this corner, and I'll stick the other Rogue clone over in this corner so they can't be easily shot at right now. Okay, it's still the Reconnaissance Specialist's turn. He spent 2 adrenaline so far, 1 to open the door and 1 to add a boost to unjamming the door. And now I think he is going to think about this for a minute and come back. Okay, so I thought about it a little bit. I'm actually going to have the Recon Specialist spend 1 more adrenaline to move, and he can move 3 spaces. So he's going to move 1, 2, 3 and turn this way. And as soon as he moves into this space, we're going to go over to the Overseer dashboard because something else is going to happen. Okay, so just as our Recon Specialist enters that space during his move, I'm going to play Surprise Attack. It costs 4 adrenaline to play. I'll put it in here. And it says, interrupt. Make an attack with an enemy against an acting commando. So the surprise attack can only be activated once for each commando action. So as the Recon Specialist is moving into the room, I'm going to have the Warrior clone take a shot at him. So let's go back to the main board. Okay, so just as the Recon Specialist gets into position here, this Warrior clone is going to take a shot at the Recon Specialist. Now, of course, he has line of sight because he's facing this way, and it's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. 3 is the shortest path to get to the Recon Specialist. However, this is a blocking piece of terrain, and if any one space for the weapon goes through blocking terrain, the Recon Specialist is going to get a partial cover bonus, which gives him a +1 on his defense. The Recon Specialist range defense is 3, so it is now going to be 4. And the Warrior clone gets to roll 3 black dice for his attack. So he shoots at the Recon Specialist. And he gets 2, 3, not quite enough to hit the Recon Specialist because of the blocking terrain. So close call. You can imagine the laser blast shooting up a piece of the wall. The Recon Specialist is okay. The Recon Specialist has spent 3 adrenaline now. He's going to spend 2 more now to do an attack action. So that's going to take him up to 5 of a possible 6 adrenaline. Spends 2 more. And he is now going to use his P100 weapon to shoot at this clone right here. And he's going to get 1 red dice and 3 black dice. Okay. And the commanding ability of the team leader, he is right here, is 1, 2, 3. He's only 4 spaces away from the Recon Specialist. He's going to add 1 more black dice to his attack roll. So he's going to have 4 black dice, 1 red dice. He's shooting at the Rogue clone, which has a range defense of 4. So we need 4 hits. And it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have enough to beat the defense of the Rogue clone. So boom, the Recon Specialist takes him off the map. 1 down, 2 to go. All right, the Recon Specialist is going to leave it there. He's not going to do any more activations this turn. Next up is the Heavy Support Specialist, the guy with the big gun. And so I'm going to have to think for a little bit here as to what I want him to do. He is right here, and we'll come right back. Oh, all right. So one thing I keep forgetting is that the Recon Specialist has something called Trailblazer. It says once during each of your turns, you can take a move action without increasing your adrenaline. So what I am actually going to have the Recon Specialist do, I'm going to take one of those adrenaline back for one of his move actions, which means he's only spent 4 to be where he is. So that's using his Trailblazer ability. All right, on to the Heavy Support Specialist. And the first thing I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have him do a move action. So we spend 1 adrenaline for that. His move is pretty limited. He's on cautious advance. He can only go 2 spaces on a move, so he's going to go 1, 2 to here. He's going to spend 1 more to move 1 more time, and he's going to go 1, 2, and he's going to do 1 diagonal and face right in front of the rogue clone here, and he is now going to spend 2 adrenaline for this activation to take a shot. And with that, he's going to be using his M62 Bull, which is 3 black, 2 red, and he is within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I'm not sure he's within the aura of the team leader. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, he is. Only using 1 diagonal, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is within the range, so he's going to get a bonus black die. He's going to have 4 black die and 2 red die, which is pretty good. He also has, when attacking with the M62 on your turn, you can make 1 additional free attack as part of the same action. So he can make a free attack. However, he's not facing the right way. So we'll just do this attack for now and see if he can take out that rogue clone. So he gets 4 black, 2 red. And oh yeah, he hits with every single dice, doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits, which is way more than the 4 defense of the rogue clone. The rogue clone is splattered up against the wall, disappearing. All right, so the Heavy Support Specialist blows him away. That is using 4 of his 6 adrenaline though. And I think he is going to actually spend 2 more adrenaline, taking him to the maximum, which will be 6 adrenaline. A little dangerous maneuver, but he's just going to turn in place, facing this way. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Actually, he is shooting now through a blocked space, which is going to give this guy 1 extra defense die. So his, not a die, a defense point. So he's going to have a 4 ranged defense. All right, let's go ahead. He's going to again have 4 black dice because he's still in the aura of the team leader, and 2 red dice to shoot. He's going to need 4 to beat the defense of the warrior clone hiding behind that console. And he gets 1, 2, 3. He gets just what he needs. The Heavy Support Specialist manages to blow him away from behind the panel, taking him out. All right, that is now the end of the Heavy Support Specialist's turn. He's used up all his adrenaline to 6. Now it is time for the team leader to go, and he is 3rd up. So let me just think about that for a minute, and we'll come back with the team leader's actions. Okay, so the first thing the team leader is going to do is do a move action. That costs 1 adrenaline. He can only move 2 because he's in the commanding mode. He's going to go 1, 2 to here. Now he is actually going to use his kit card reposition. It says, you and 1 other commando within 5 spaces of you move 2 spaces. You can use this action once during your turn. So he's going to have the Recon Specialist. He's going to use his kit card, costing him 1 adrenaline. So he's used 2 of his 5 adrenaline. He's going to have the Recon Specialist make a move of 2 spaces. Now, the Recon Specialist only went in a straight line. He's not used a diagonal yet, so I believe this is a valid move. 1, and the Recon Specialist will be 2 in front of this door. And I went in between rough terrain markers, so going diagonally, you are not affected by the rough terrain on either side, so it's just 1 space, 2 space over here. He wants to get beside the Heavy Support Specialist, so he won't get attacked if that happens. And he's not used to diagonal yet, so he's just going to go 1, 2, and he's going to face actually towards the door this time. And that will be the end, I believe, of the commando's first turn. So they've opened up the first room. They have taken out the 3 aliens that were hiding in there. So I am going to just go into the Overseer phase here in a moment, but I just wanted to correct the one error, and that is the Recon Specialist indeed does get 1 damage because the blocking terrain was not adjacent to him, and that means he did not get the bonus +1 on defense, so his defense was 3, not 4, and the alien had 3 hits. Hence, the Recon Specialist does take 1 wound. Alright, I'm going to go right into the Overseer phase. I know I said I was going to split the episodes up into Commando phase, Overseer phase, but the Overseer phase this turn is going to be very short, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so here we are over at the Overseer dashboard. Now, the first thing that happens in the Overseer turn is we refresh the dashboard and abilities. And so the only ability we used was Surprise Attack. The refresh value is 2, so 2 adrenaline come off of that ability back to the bank. And now it would be activate console abilities. So anything off the dashboard we can activate. However, we only have 2 adrenaline as the Overseer, and the only thing we can do with 2 adrenaline is do clone reinforcements, and they must be spawned at an enemy passage tile, and we don't have enemy passage tiles on the board yet. So really the Overseer doesn't have a whole lot to do right now, and the last part of his phase is to discard adrenaline, and the Overseer can only ever at the end of his phase have 10 adrenaline. So if he has more than 10 adrenaline, he has to discard down to 10 adrenaline. All right, back to the main board. We'll wrap up for well, I guess we'll call it turn 1 and turn 2 because I'm splitting them, and then the next time we'll be on to the commandos again. Alright, so just to wrap up here, that was the end of, I guess, an entire round. A round which I'm breaking into 2 turns for video purposes is a commando phase and then the Overseer sort of phase. But it was a very short Overseer, so I just wrapped it all into this video. Alright, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Join me next time for the continuation here of Mission 2, A Breath of Fresh Air, when we get the commandos doing their activities again next time. Alright, thanks for watching.